Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your regular weekly podcast, Knowledge Empowers. With you is me, Kat. 안녕하세요. Then we have Baruch.
Hello.
And we have Plach.
Dobre rano, good morning, everyone.
And I was just telling you guys the new words I've learned in Korean, such as this hair. It's mori. Mori. Sounds like more. It's like a C in Slovak language. So mori.
Congrats.
So guys, what's today's topic?
Well, today we are going to talk about social media.
Oh,
It's a popular topic, right?
Yeah, mostly because of this Facebook blackout for 3 hours, 4 hours, something like that.
I didn't really notice. If you didn't tell me, I wouldn't know.
me neither.
Yeah. Did you miss it, Coach?
What do you mean by miss it? I didn't miss Facebook.
Okay.
I didn't miss it in these terms.
But did you notice?
Yeah, I noticed because suddenly I was shooting with my girlfriend and suddenly it got somehow disconnected, like the message didn't went through. So I reloaded the web page and suddenly it was like some error or something like that. Go back to previous page. I'm like, okay, this is weird. So I restarted. First I tried cookies and cache. That's the first thing they teach you, like clear your cookies cache. Maybe there is something wrong with that. So I did that, tried incognito window, no change. I've tried to restart my computer because that's the other thing. Have you tried to turn it off and on again? So that's what I've done. That's what I've tried. That's then at the same time I tried to use my mobile phone with a different network. When I've got the same result, I was like, okay, so it's Facebook, it's not me. So that was the thing. The only thing which bothered me, whether it's my fault, my issue, and something is not working on my computer, or it's like the global one. And as soon as I figure out it's global one, like, okay, sure, I don't care more.
I've seen news about this later after you told me, and there was so many businesses rely on Facebook because they have all their information on Facebook, nowhere else.
Yeah.
So this was actually not very good for them.
Yeah, for Facebook lost like $9 billion, $6 billion, and
someone calculated it, and it was good money.
And on shares, it was over $19, I think, the last time I checked. So that was a nice impact for some outage like this.
Nice impact.
And imagine there was some cleaning lady, hoovering the floors and then unplug the electricity. Sorry.
They said it was some mistake with server something.
Naming servers, domain name server, DNS stuff. I don't know. I mean, I don't care. Facebook is having tough times right now because there is this whistleblower lady who was talking about these studies which Facebook has done on their users and the results of those. So that was one heavy impact, and this came up.
Go deeper. I don't know about it.
No. Oh,
I am an old lady.
She said based on what I've read about the internal information she brought up, is that Facebook has done studies on its users to figure out what's the effect of the Facebook algorithm and how the posts are shown to the users. And the results show that, it has a negative impact on the user in a way that it creates a huge gap between the opinions, and it actually creates less space for discussion and more for hate. So in terms, for example, like we have now the pandemic period or something like that, and if you open one article about why not to vaccinate, the Facebook would offer you more articles why not to. So you would create even stronger opinion on that, and you wouldn't see the other side because Facebook would not offer because of how the engagement is
your preference.
Yeah, so your basic preferences. This goes for example, this pandemic. This goes also for U.S. election. This goes for what was it? I think that there was some weapon stuff in the U.S. So all these things actually are somehow supported through Facebook and creates this huge gap and diversity, creates less diversity actually. So it goes for the maximum engagement, which creates this huge gap between the opinions that you're either on one side or the other one, and nothing in between.
Basically, it polarizes, right?
Polarizes, yeah,
Society.
polarizes the society. That's the word. Yeah, that's.
For me, Chinchashiro, I really hate Chinchashiro. At the very beginning, back in 2008, when I started using Facebook, what I liked was that everyone I had as a friend, like connected, it listed me on the wall, like, let's say during the day, what did they share? So I saw like what each of my acquaintance or person I know did. And I liked it because then I had like overview of like, yeah, Baruch did this and Kolach did that, etc. And then these days, it's just sponsorship advertisement, maybe some that I visit regularly. So those do pop up. And that's it. And I literally have no idea what my friends are doing. It doesn't even show whatsoever. And whether you use Instagram or it's a Facebook. And I was just telling my hubby, I'm like, all I see is just advertisement. And he was like, well, it's turning actually that later you will complain, why are my ads disturbed by my friends' because literally you just see sponsor ads, and that's it. And like Colette said that I was once searching for my friend these shoes because her toe is like sort of bended, and there are special shoes that you when you put it sort of starting to put your toe back. Ever since then, I only see these ads, right? And the worst ad, I really hate that ad. It's about these, when a lady has a period and these panties that you can have. And for me, the emotion it gets in me, I've never felt more disgusted. And I keep blocking. I don't know, as soon as I see it, I'm like, why on freaking earth would you? It just, I can't even imagine it. I would be constantly in shower. It's just disgusting. So I keep block. Don't you dare to show this to me. The more funnier one was that ad kept showing to my husband as a male. So what he did opposite. He made them, okay, if you already made it that I need to see it, I will make you pay for it. So because he's in this business, he knows how many times you need to click. So they would be charged for the advertisement. So every time it showed for him, he clicked numerous times, so they would be charged. I'm like, okay. But
so how many times do I need to click?
It's like you need to click on the ad, which will then take you to the web, and then you need to click minimum. Go further inside of the web, so they would be charged, and you need to stay a certain period of time on the website, few seconds at least. And so, but for me right now, the social media actually lost the purpose of being social media because I don't see my friends there. I just don't see them there anymore, unless I physically go and search for my friend, click on his or her name, and check their wall. But the purpose of what the Facebook was there for, or an Instagram, is lost. It's not there anymore. And even when you look at the stories, I start looking at the story, boom, ad. I'm like, oh, and then I just turn it off. I want to see my friends.
And same for me. This is why I don't use, like, Facebook lost my attention or my time when they changed the notification system and they didn't notify you about the stuff you wanted then or you selected to be notified about. and they changed it like to whatever they pleased. Like, we are going to notify you about some random pages that we think you might like, and not about friends anymore, what they are doing and stuff. So I was like, no way. Like, if I'm going to use social media, it's going to be on my terms. So now I really go there only if somebody tells me there is something I should look for, or if I want to write to some friends. That's all.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I am still on Facebook because when I post something on Instagram, let's say my latest drawing, on Instagram I have like 8 to 10 views. On Facebook I have like 81. So that's what my generation is. We are still on Facebook. So if I do want to share my I still need to keep to Facebook. But it's really it's a similar way like you, but also I just post there and but I have to go and click on certain people if I want to see. Otherwise it doesn't even show me. I don't know what the purpose of Facebook, Instagram is about anymore.
Mhm. I never had Instagram. I had Instagram like for a few days, and then I canceled my account.
What? I keep still tagging you. It still show me that you are
Oh,
there.
really?
Uh,
Okay.
I wonder if you can like delete it. Maybe you can just like silent it or something like that. Maybe.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
because we've been painting on Saturday with Baruch, so I tagged her in the painting. So I'm tagging non-existent
Well, thank you.
person.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
don't
God.
Yeah,
I
for me,
remember.
Facebook is something like a shopping mall. When you think about it, and I think that Facebook is not the first one who's doing this targeting, something like that, because there is this huge. I've read it in a book that in a book of Power of Habit, that the first, like not first, but heavy attempt on this targeting, personalization, what you were Katka, going through, actually happens also in Target, the huge retail company
I
in
know
US.
Target.
So they are collecting the data, and what is interesting is that for the retails, the most important person is the one who has moved recently to a different part of the city, to different cities altogether, different states, and people who get pregnant, because those are two moments when your body is ready to make some changes when it comes to your shopping habits.
Oh,
So
interesting.
when they were studying mostly these two groups, or not studying these two groups, they were checking out the buying habits and noticing the differences, like what happened, what changed. And everything goes suddenly when you have this bonus card, like, oh, you can get some bonuses, because then they actually track where are you from, and what are you having
Buying.
in your shopping in your shop list, on your shop list. So what they noticed is, for example, that when it comes to the pregnancy, people tend to buy suddenly some different beauty products without some flavors or whatsoever. They notice that this is the difference. And how, so what they've done with it is that when they notice that your shopping habits suddenly changed from the week to week or month to month, they suddenly started to send you different coupons. So, and it got so far that it wasn't just about this reflective model, but also prediction model. So they noticed not just that, okay, you changed the your beauty products, so you are probably pregnant, and we are going to send you, I don't know, some first things for your current usage, like new milk or better vitamins or whatsoever. But they were also thinking ahead in terms of like, okay, you got to 7th month, 3rd trimester. Okay, this is the period you need this and this and this, and they already predicted like, okay, so it's 2 months before this trimester, so you can already buy it. And it got that far that there was this one complaint. One man came to Target and asking him why the Target is offering him to buy baby stuff. Like, nobody in the family is pregnant. That's stupid. Like you had.
He didn't know.
He didn't know. Yeah, he didn't know. He came
He
back
didn't know he's
home.
pregnant.
Not his, but his daughter was. His daughter was. So he came home, and suddenly his daughter told, like, yeah, I'm pregnant, and he was like, he didn't know, and then he called back, like, to the shop, to the company, like, I'm sorry, the issue is solved, like, not the issue is solved, but like, yeah, we figured out why we've got it, and yeah, thank you. So sorry for everything.
Oh.
And this is what is happening with Facebook, I guess, as well. Like, they are collecting your data, your preferences on music, on sites, on videos. There are some, and I don't know if that's true, but some people say that it can also listen to what you are talking about. I don't know. I've got the stories, chilling stories, So it's offering.
Yeah. We are now talking about babies, and suddenly when you go on Facebook, there will be lots of babies products for us.
Sure. I think so. Like, they will see that how long I'm with my girlfriend, so they will start offering me some wedding stuff.
It's about time.
Rings and everything. So I wonder when that comes.
With the subtle hint, we want to tell you it's about damn time.
But those notices will be subtle. Like, for Target, for example, they know that they can't go like full blown, like, okay, this is what you bought, and we know that you don't know, but we know, and we are going to offer you that. So what they've done is that they will mix it in between. They will mix, like, they will offer you wine, and next to that there will be some baby stuff,
Yes, because when you find the answer, like, oh my God, I'm pregnant, you first need to get drunk. Like, I can't believe this answer.
And this is actually scary, how much the internet knows about us, or the people around, or like the companies, I would say, not the people, but the companies, like how they can touch our behaviors, our habits to something tangible.
But we do it purposely because of using those bonus cards,
Yes, exactly.
But it's not just that. I'm talking also about Gmail or Google. Like, you search for something and they will give you something, in rewards.
But I am more surprised here. For example, I used to go to Billa a lot, and they never offered me something that I usually buy. It's like, for me, guys, you have this card. You have inside information about so many of your customers, and yet they never used it. Then what for are you collecting it?
I think they're a little bit traditional, and they just really take it as like loyalty card.
Maybe
if you have it, you're probably more likely to come here.
Maybe they are not offering.
I think that's how it started, really.
Yeah, maybe they're not offering you the stuff you are buying because they want you to change the brand. So they're offering you similar products with similar qualities, but a different brand.
Never seen that one.
Like, you never bought anything on the list which is similar to that. Like, they're offering you, like, you bought a butter and there was a butter, but of a different brand. No. Okay.
I'm like, and Baruch can tell you, you've seen me. I don't eat things which I never tried before. Like, no, you tried, you eat it, me not. No. If I prefer something that's it, if even with chocolates, there is only certain chocolates I will eat. The rest I will not even touch. It's like, no.
Somehow, I don't know how, but I'm avoiding all of these things. I have only one loyalty card, that's for Tesco. And so far I didn't receive, even email, I didn't receive like
nothing
advertising me some special products.
I didn't receive anything from Billa.
But it's great. It's not just about, guys, it's not just about these bonus cards, but it's all about all our data. So smartphones, how many smart devices do you have at your home? Smart appliances. A lot. Yeah, right.
A lot.
So right now they are putting this collecting data devices into even like a washing machine, So they know when you wash the dishes, how much you wash, how much water you spend. So and I have no clue what they're doing with that. But you know, they are
Mhm.
collecting the data to see how much electricity, how much water we spend, what at what times, and they can use it somehow then for the distribution companies.
Which is really
Uh,
terrible if you think about it, because you actually agree with it by buying the product, but you don't actually really have a choice if you want some non-dumb washing machine.
Actually, nowadays there is the lack of the chips, and we will go like 20 years back because every time you go around Volkswagen or Skoda, there are stack of cars. They're all ready.
Mhm.
They prepared. They're ready. They just missing is the chip. So actually, it will be like, I want to buy a new car, but so they will sort of bring these retro cars where you don't have the electric windows, but it will be based on the manual things. And this car doesn't have a car radio. Never mind. Does it ride? Yeah. Does it have 4 wheels? Yes. I'll buy it. It will be like literally we'll go down out of our own standards just so you could have the car. So
True story.
yeah.
True story. Yep. We were buying car recently, so it was exactly like that. Can we have this in the car? Yeah, you can, but you need to wait for like 6 months. Okay, I will buy the one you have.
Exactly. Same was for us. What do you have in stock right now? This, does it have this? No. Does it have that? No. We'll buy it. Otherwise, right now for Skoda, you would wait 9 to 10 months
Wow.
just because of no chips. It's unbelievable. So,
And it will get worse, I guess.
so anyhow, back to the social media.
And personal information.
Personal information, data are everywhere, you know.
Yes.
But
well, companies
If you're
understand
using
it's
a
the goal.
browser in an anonymous state,
Mhm.
does it still collect the data?
How should I know?
I don't know.
I think it definitely collects the data. It definitely collects. I
Well,
doubt that it
the-
doesn't save
But
anywhere.
it cannot target it properly, maybe?
I have
Maybe.
an add-on on in my browser that basically you wouldn't believe how much Facebook collects your information, even if you're not on Facebook. Like even if you don't open the Facebook, yes. Like in many places where you log in, Facebook, like sometimes you have these like social media icons, like share this
Yep.
article somewhere. And there is this add-on that actually prohibits Facebook collecting information from such sites. And I will see like little icon there, like there is a little fence icon. When this will happen, when this add-on prohibits the collection of information, there are so many places, people. Like you really don't need, you only thing you need is to have a Facebook account, and you don't really need to open Facebook on your phone.
Yeah, the same goes, for example, for Android. I know that it was Google there, or mostly Google is on Android. So when I visited any place, the day after, how did you like it? Rate it, recommend
Yes,
it, and I'm like,
yeah.
what, how was your trip to visit some place? And I'm like,
Yeah.
so you're suddenly they are tracking your motion, how fast you're going, where are you going. So it's like, yeah, and next time you will see some ad, you will see similar stuff, similar restaurant somewhere else, you know, whatever happens. Data.
Ugh. But that's but actually what you do want to find out, the information you want to find out, those you don't find.
Well, you're not behaving the right way, Kat.
Yeah, I'm
You have
sorry.
to show the
Yeah.
right things.
I'm sorry for
Well,
not behaving
it's
correctly.
kind of comforting, no? I think that they don't know everything. They don't know your deepest desires.
Or they pretend they don't know everything.
Or they pretend they don't.
But that funny thing is, when you started to talk, Baruch, about the blocking app, there was this recently. There is this unfollow everything application or some tool created for Facebook, which with one click you unfollow everything, every friend, every web page, every whatever, everything in Facebook. and the creator of this plugin was banned from Facebook. unless he pulls it back. So he decided then to pull it back for some for the obvious reason. But yeah.
Oh,
Oh no.
So it's
Sounded
funny.
useful.
It's funny that like you are disrupting the normal behavior how Facebook is working. You will be banned. Like what?
you know, my hubby has also like he regularly puts ads, right, for companies, and he never breached any policies, misbehavior, etc. And you could really see in his account that he's doing it for years. This is how much money he spent, etc. And he placed an ad, and they blocked his account. And then he got in contact with the hidden ID, right? And so, because of English, I went there. I started writing, typing, etc. I'm like, if you look at that account, there is a normal, proper behavior. Didn't breach anything, unblocked him. It's not possible to unblock him. What do you mean it's not possible to unblock him? He needs to create a brand new account and start all over again. I'm like, what? No, once we block someone, it's just not possible to unblock him.
That's weird.
I think from an IT perspective, of course you can unblock him. It's like you own it. You go into system, unblock it. No, it's not possible. And I'm like, okay, then tell me where and what he breached. Like I was behaving like him, like, tell me what I breached. I don't see this information. Then why did you block me? I don't know. Then unblock me. That's not possible. And you were in this spiral of this circle and not getting any satisfied answer. And the best was at the end, how satisfying was the answer? Unsatisfying. You didn't give me any answer. Nothing that I can understand or learn from or nothing. You just made me even more angrier.
But this is the funny thing. They're a private company. They can do it. They can do it. It's like going for a coffee shop and they don't have the coffee or they don't serve it for you. Like, and that's it. So
you speak to the IT person somewhere there in the basement and just tell him, go to the server, unblock this person.
But he doesn't have to. When you come to a coffee shop and you ask them for a coffee they don't have, they will tell you they don't have it or they don't care, and that's it. Like you can't force them to do something on top. It's their choice basically. It's like if they block you, they block you. If they can't unblock it, they can unblock it, and you can complain whatever you want. It's not your web page. It's not your property, or sort of to speak. So there you go. I mean, if you don't like it, ciao. There are the doors in it.
But he spends so much money there that the Facebook lives from, and
how much is it? Millions?
Okay, no, it's not millions.
So that's
a couple thousand, but still.
You know, the same goes when they block your account on YouTube or anywhere. Like it's a private company. They have their own whatever guidance, and if they don't like it, it's gone.
But then fair enough. Fair enough. But if I would block you from a customer perspective or customer service perspective, I would at least tell you what did you breach so you can learn from it. But they didn't even give us this answer.
That would be nice, but like
why should I?
Yeah,
we have millions of other customers using our services. We don't need one.
And millions is, I think, under.
Guys, would you? I want to ask you. Would you be like, if you had a choice, like if Facebook could be deleted today, would you decide? Would you vote for deleting Facebook?
Definitely, I would delete internet.
Okay, now your age is showing.
Switch it off. Switch off the internet.
I don't know if I would delete it because I think that someone else would come up with the idea. So I think that even if we delete Facebook, someone else would replace it. So it doesn't. I think it's a natural step in the evolution when it comes to the internet, to social media or media itself. and also a step for the AI. So I think that our question shouldn't be if we would delete it or something like that, but how to change it. How do we change the system behind that? Because that's more important. That's the systematic change we need to do. And it's not about the Facebook, about the algorithm, but it's about the mindset of the people who are programming it. It's the mindset of the business behind the Facebook. That's what we need.
I want back to see my friends. That's all I want. Because, okay, Facebook is a huge phenomena because there were other social pages.
What was it?
MySpace. ICQ, or how was it?
ICQ was,
Yeah.
for us, it
Like a
was
chatting
the
pool.
local companies like Pockets.
Yeah. And then, how come MySpace suddenly just maybe it's still alive? I don't know. Maybe some people still
Yes.
using it, but
It's still
Facebook became such a huge phenomena, which is, I think I never seen it before with the social page, social media platform. I just don't like how it changed, because it changed the purpose of it, that I now don't see my friends and I want to see what my friends are doing. So
you can still call them.
yeah.
Or
All of
see
these-
them physically.
All
You
of
know,
these
like,
500 acquaintances, like, hey, what's up, dude? What you've
Well,
been
that's-
up to last year?
but that's actually the thing. Like, why do you have 500 people on Facebook?
Because most of them are my
It's an
colleagues.
extrovert, that's why.
But how many of those have you get in touch in the last year? Like, talk to?
That's what I'm saying. Not many, because I don't see them anymore. And it's just sort of like randomly, I just go like, I wonder how this person is. And then I go and check that person.
But you just check them. But have you talked to them, or you just check them?
If
That's the
there was
thing.
no Facebook, how many would you be?
Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm just thinking on my behavior. Some I even ping like through chat, like, hey, how are you? No, if I do check, I ping them as well. Yeah. If I do check, I ping them.
I have 100 friends there, and I talk to like 20. So
Me even less. Yeah.
like 2.
Okay, it's just 3 people. Or like if we don't
I-
count them, yeah.
Aren't those
1,
small
2,
people?
and that's it.
Yeah, and then there are the accounts when there is like I have 2,000 friends, and I'm like, say, what? What? How do you get to, no? That I think
It's
that,
usually HR people, right? You
yeah.
meet
Wait,
the
and-
newcomer and they.
And when you go on beer with all 2,000, where do you find a place?
That must be one long table.
But that's another side of the social media, that people get so used to of using like chat, not face-to-face interactions. And I see it also many times when I do these virtual trainings, that people don't go on camera. They sort of hide, or how I can call it. And then in real life, when they're supposed to meet someone, they are scared, or they don't want to approach the person. They don't know how to approach the person. They already have these scenarios in his, like, but what if I ask a question and they start answering me something else? Then what should I do? You talk to them. So that's another dark side that the social media created, that people suddenly don't know how to talk to each other.
I will slightly disagree here. Like they have trouble maybe face to face when it comes to that, but I think it's much easier to express your opinion on something when there is no camera, when you could be anonymous even.
You just said that word, anonymous. If you can be anonymous, then you express the words. But if you have your name.
No, I think that even if you have your name, it's easier to do it through comments or something like that. We've seen that And again, it could be counted as a negative because then you don't have the discussion, but you have this polarization in comments, and
Mhm.
they don't say like send any constructive comment like, oh, this could be done better, or I don't agree with your opinion because of that, but they just go like, this is bullshit, and that's like, yeah, thank you for your comment, ciao. That's not helpful. But these comments are now more there than they were before. So I think that's the one thing. The other one which I noticed is that recently, since Facebook started to add this voicemail into the chat, people are using that more than before. So they are actually calling. They are not writing, they are not typing, they're using the voice, recording themselves for 13 seconds and putting it as a message instead of writing. So we are getting slowly back to short calls, so I record myself and that's it. And I noticed this behavior on my friends that they, instead of writing, they actually made this voice
But
voice
it's still
recording.
not direct talking like us, but it's like you record it, you leave it, and when the person has time, we'll listen and then.
Yep. But again, it has positives and negatives. Well, everything is
Yeah.
So.
But then once you see yourself face to face, it's like,
Yeah. Yep.
hi.
I've met 2 new people during this home office period, and it was interesting reaction when I met them face to face, because when you are on camera, you are watching directly into the WebEx or Zoom or whatever tool, and when you meet them, suddenly it's like, oh, you're this tall, or oh, you're this small. Okay, that was unexpected, like, hi, I'm Mate, nice to meet you. Like, I didn't expect these things. So,
No, I had also a girl. She was coming to my sessions, etc. And then we've met in the park, and it's like really 2 girls just talking like, hey, and then we met in a park, and you saw the body language of her. She felt awkward, like what should she do? Like she was like, hi, and I was like, come here, girl, and she was like, oh, okay. So because for her it was the first time seeing me alive, and she was like, hi, I'm like, come here. And I think that's how we should end it. Guys, that's the end of it. If you have a topic you want us to cover, let us know. And in other words, 수고하셨습니다.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, bye. Pekný deň.
This podcast represents our own opinions, experience, and our own ideas. We do not represent any official statement from our employers, and this is not their official channel representing the company.